Şimdi Ian bizlerle olacak. Kendisi ödüllü bloggerımız ve Contentson'a bu sene İrlanda'dan katılıyor. Ian is... Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you. Ian, just for a quick announcement. Özür dileyerek bir ufak şeyle bölmek istiyorum. Çevirmen kulaklıklarımızın sanıyorum sesleri biraz açık. O da birlikte aynı sırada olduğumuz kişileri rahatsız edebilir. Birazcık seslerini kısabilirsek çok güzel olur. Teşekkür ediyorum.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Merhaba İstanbul. Hey! Nasılsın? Yeah, it's good. It's good. That is the only Turkish I know. Actually, I was looking up about the history of Turkey and Ireland. And in around 1847, there was a famine in Ireland where people had very little food. And the Turkish people sent over 3 shiploads of food to Ireland. So thank you very much for sending them ships to Ireland. I'm delighted to be here in Turkey today. When I told my wife I was coming to Turkey to speak, she was so happy. And it was nothing got to do with the conference, she just wanted to come to Turkey. So my wife is with me here today. Okay, so what we're going to talk about is 12 tools and tips to grow your blog. I'm a very passionate blogger because I see the benefits of blogging. It is time consuming, but if you get it right, it can be a huge source of traffic and a great tool for marketing your business. But first of all, strategy gives you direction. Tools help you get there quicker. So what I'm going to talk about today, I'm going to talk about 12 problems with blogging, and then I'm going to talk about a solution and a suggested tool. But you have to get the strategy first before you pick up the tools. And even though I give you some suggested tools, there are other tools you can use as well. But make sure to take note of the issues of blogging, and if you focus on the issues here, you will walk away with some actionable tips that will help you drive a lot more traffic to your blog and get a lot more business as a result of the blog. Does that all sound good? Yeah. Yes, that's an English word. How do you say yes in Turkish? Okay. I have to learn some more Turkish. Okay, so number one, the issue is blogging takes too much time. We know it's a time-consuming task. It's hard. You need to blog consistently. That's one of the most important things with blogging, is you're doing it consistently on a regular basis. Whether that's weekly or monthly, whatever it is, it's consistent. And you need to plan out your content, because every blog post is an opportunity to market your business. You're thinking about your product all the time, your product or services. It's a marketing tool. So one thing that's extremely important is an editorial calendar. And this helps you plan out your blog. It doesn't matter if there's 1 person in your team or 100 people in your team, you still need an editorial calendar. You should be scheduling all your content for the next few months and look at all the key topics you're going to write about over the next year. And now is a good time to plan this out. So you should never be sitting down to blog without having your calendar in front of you, looking at what you've planned out. This is a tool called CoSchedule, and it gives you the editorial calendar. It's quite a low-price tool. It gives you an editorial calendar. It also allows you to publish your content to social media channels. So as soon as your blog post is scheduled, and then what you can do is publish it to Facebook and Twitter and Google Plus and LinkedIn automatically. What you can also do is say, well, I want this content to be shared now. I want to be shared in an hour's time, 6 hours' time, the next day, 5 days later, whatever your schedule is. If you think about the likes of Twitter, if I share my blog post now on Twitter, you will find probably less than 5% of your audience is going to see that tweet. So less than 5% sees it. So you have to schedule content again, share it later in the day, share it the next day. And if it's evergreen content, which is content that doesn't run out of date, you're always sharing that content. Once a month, for example, because you always want to get more traffic in. And that's more opportunities to get links to your content, which means it can continuously help with ranking. So CoSchedule is a good tool. One other thing that's nice in there is it picks out, well, what is your popular content? What is the content on your blog that's getting shared the most? Well, that's some content you can reshare it again. If it's proven to be popular, reshare it back out to your audience. Get more life into that content. Get more links to that content. Don't forget about your old content. So an editorial calendar is absolutely essential. A second problem is you don't get a lot of organic traffic from the likes of Google for most of your blog content. So if you look at your analytics, you'll probably find there's a small percentage of your content driving most of the traffic. So the key thing is, before you write that post, make sure you have a good chance to rank for that content. Now, a lot of you guys have experience in SEO, so this would be less of a problem if you got strong skills in search engine optimization. But say, for example, you don't, you may use a tool to help. One of them tools is Inbound Writer. And all I do is put in the keywords into Inbound Writer, and it's going to give me a rating, and it's going to say red, orange, or green. Sorry. Red, orange, or green. Green means this content has a very good chance of getting ongoing organic traffic. So I put in this, and it's ranked 113, green. It has a chance of getting good organic traffic, and it shows me the potential of this traffic. It'll also show me where I will probably end up ranking for this content. If I write about this content and do a little bit of promotion, where I could end up ranking for it. This is a typical post where you post a blog post, you get an initial burst of traffic, and then it dips off, and then what you want to see is rising again as Google starts indexing it and ranking for it. When you're using Inbound Writer, you got to, generally with any post I write, I get 2 to 3 times more organic traffic for posts that give a green indicator. That just says, hey, you're probably going to rank for this. I'll end up getting 2 to 3 times more organic traffic. So I waste a lot less time. By the way, my wife is over here streaming this on Periscope, so can everybody say hi to people on Periscope? There you go, thanks. Thank you. Okay, 3, not good at getting enough links. I'm sure you talked about this a lot over the last couple of days. So from a blog piece of content, if I'm writing a piece of content, what I want to do is write the best piece of content around that topic. If I want to get people to link to me, I want to reach out and say, hey, that's an old piece of content, here's a better piece of content. So I'm looking to write for the best piece of content around the topic. So the example is here, Twitter Analytics, the only guide you ever need. So the content I write is all about tools and tech side to online marketing. So it's the only guide you ever need. So I start searching on Google to see, is there any old content there? And I find a piece of content here that has reference to a tool that doesn't exist anymore. So a lot of people linking to this old piece of content. So I will reach out and I'll use Ahrefs to find out who's linking to this piece of content. And then from there, I'll start reaching out to people with, that have reasonable authority domains. So the key thing is, from a blogging perspective, is find out what's the best piece of content around the topic you're writing about and try to just write something better. Why would somebody link to a poor quality piece of content? I don't bother writing, 200-word articles just because I didn't blog this week. I'll only write really good, detailed, quality articles because I want to get them links as much as possible. And as you do that on a consistent basis, you'll naturally get more links. Your domain authority will go up, and then it just becomes easier to rank. So write really good pieces of content. A fourth problem is your competitor is ranking for keywords that not you. So what are your competitors ranking for? I know some of the SEM Rush team is not here today, but that's an excellent tool to use. So you find out, using a tool like that, what keywords your competitor is ranking for. and then write some content to try and take some of their traffic. So I'll go into SEMrush and I'll just put in the details of the site. It's going to show me then the top keywords my competitor is ranking on. And I'll look at the details on that. And then what I'll do then is I'll start writing content based on that. I'll actually take these keywords, I'll put them into Inbound Writer just to confirm I have a good chance for ranking on these keywords, and then I'll start taking some of their traffic. Number 5, not sure what to write about. This is generally a problem. People go, well, what are the topics? What should I be writing about? This was mentioned by Hannah earlier on. BuzzSumo is an excellent tool for doing some content research. So one piece of this content research is where I put in keywords. I'm thinking about writing a topic. I put in keywords and I find out what's the most searched or shared piece of content related to these keywords. And once I see the keywords here, then I'll start looking at these articles and see, why was this shared a lot? And you'll find things like, wow, there was an infographic in here, so that's why it was shared. So I know I need to put an infographic in my content. Or that was shared a lot on Pinterest. I'm going to look at Pinterest and see, why was it shared a lot? So this is a really useful tool for researching this, for looking at trending content, to finding links to content, to finding who's writing this content. Definitely worth using. Number 6, influencers not sharing your content. I wrote a blog post recently, and it was interesting, Hannah's session about ideas, the importance of an idea. And my idea and blog post was, influence is the new online currency. So what I'm saying is, if you build influence online, you can generate more money. And actually, when you're writing blog content, think of each blog post as an idea. Okay, it's a mini idea, but it's an idea you're trying to sell to somebody. So influence is the new online currency was the idea I was trying to sell. Now you want influencers to share your content, and you want to become more influential, because if you become more influential, more people will share your content, more people will follow you, more people will link to you. So what you want to do is borrow an audience from an influencer in your niche. So how do you borrow an audience from an influencer? So there's a couple of ways. So interview experts in your industry. So you interview them, then you profile them within your content, and now when you share that out, well, they will share that content out. But also when you're interviewing them, you're building relationships with influencers. They're getting to know you. As they get to know you, well, then you can start talking about potential partnerships and opportunities. So interviewing is a great technique to get more exposure for your blog, for building your business. Group posts with industry leaders. Hannah mentioned this as well, where she's talked about photographers doing a post about the 45 photographers, I think it was their favorite picture, and they were sharing pictures of their kids and their family and stuff. That is getting the influencers involved in your content, and then when you share that content out, all these influencers will share the content. Now they know about your blog, they know about what you do, they're sharing their content, some of their audience gets to know what you do, and now this is going to drive a lot more traffic. If you do this for a brand new blog, your very first post, if you focus on this type of article, you will get thousands of visitors from your very first blog post. Thousands of people have done it. And finally, profile people in the industry, profile industry leaders in a post where you go, oh, here's the top 100 SEO people in the industry. That you're profiling industry leaders. They share out the content because people like being in lists. So that's important as well. Here's an example, 37 experts share their best personal branding tips. It's a group post with experts in it. Here's other examples where you're profiling industry leaders, where you're talking about the top 10 content marketers or the top 10 SEO people within the industry. These posts do extremely well because you're profiling these influential people. Everybody with me so far still? Making sense? Okay, good. Number 7, conversion rates on opt-ins are low. So When you write your blog post and your content, you need to build email subscribers, because that's another audience for you to, first of all, sell your products and services, but also promote your follow-on blog posts. And one of the problems is it's becoming harder and harder to build email subscribers because people start ignoring your opt-ins. You have a blog post, and on the right-hand side, you have an opt-in saying, sign up to my email address list. Your conversion rate on that is probably less than 1%. So it's not very high. You can increase that conversion rate up to 5, 10, 15% using this tactic. So you write a blog post and you provide an opt-in within the blog post that's specific to that blog post. Easiest thing to do is say, well, here's a blog post. Would you like a PDF of this blog post? We'll sign up to an email or my email database for that. You're talking about 5% conversion rate for that. If I write, say, well, here's a strategy guide. Do you want a checklist for this strategy guide? That you might get 10% or more conversion on this. Checklists work well, PDFs work well, or maybe it's like, here's 10 additional tips I didn't share in this post. Sign up and get these 10 additional tips. In this, we're using a tool called Opt-in Monster, which is a lead generation tool, which provides all sorts of opt-ins. And my second favorite option for Opt-in Monster is an exit intent pop-up. So people are browsing through your website, looking through your content. As soon as they move the mouse to the top right or top left, a pop-up comes up saying, sorry you're leaving, hand over your details. Do you want to subscribe? That gets very good conversion as well, because you're grabbing the attention of people. And you're not annoying them because it's only when they're leaving. And that's Opt-in Monster. Now, these are tools. There are many tools that provide exit intent pop-ups. So the concept is what you need to get. The tool is, yes, it's a great tool, but there are other tools that do this as well. So simple, this one got 300 email subscribers just for this specific post. And actually, that's an old slide, so it's still getting email subscribers on it. So 300 just from that post. Okay, number 8 is not getting enough social traffic. You want more social traffic. This is the problem. On Twitter, when you share out your content on Twitter, or Facebook, on Facebook, your organic reach is going down. Everybody knows it. The chances are less than 5% of people are going to see your blog post on Facebook. On Twitter, I was on Twitter the other day and I looked to see how many of my followers were online, and I have a lot of followers, and it was only like 83 people online at that time. It was early in the morning, and a lot of my audience is US audience and international audience, so it was early Irish time. It was okay Turkish time actually, but only 83 people were on. So if I shared a tweet at that time, the vast majority of people, less than 1% of my audience, is going to see that tweet. So you have to repeat share your content. And here's an example. So on Twitter, I'm sharing a new blog post. I'm sharing on Publish. I'm sharing it 8 hours later, 16 hours later, a day later, 3 days' time, a week's time, and then every month after this. You don't be as aggressive on Facebook or Google Plus or LinkedIn, but on Twitter, you need to be more aggressive with your content. Nobody ever says to me that they've seen content twice, because they don't. It's extremely unusual to get. It's very, very difficult to get people to see your content. So you need to be more aggressive with your social media targeting. And I don't give up with this. Every month then I'm resharing the good content. So there's a queue of content going out. Here's an example of a schedule I have where I'm specifying I'm sharing different categories of content at different times throughout the day. This is a tool using a tool called Edgar. And this allows me to say, well, here's a category of content, and based on this category, share a post for this category at a specific time. So I'm saying, well, okay, my post I want to share at 10 o'clock. Somebody else's post I share at 12 o'clock. Maybe an inspirational quote share at 2 o'clock. So there's a constant stream going out, and then it's an older piece of content shared at 4 o'clock. So you're always sharing content out, and a lot of it is the older content. But you will find that your older content quite often gets shared more than when you first shared it. So having a strategy for repeat sharing, if you don't have this strategy, immediately you'll start doubling your traffic from social media to your website easily by just implementing this. Number 9, not enough sharing of your content. You want more sharing of your content. So don't make it difficult for people when they come to your website to share your content. Quite often you come to a site and you go, well, where do I share? How do I share it to Facebook? How do I share it to Pinterest? How do I share it to LinkedIn? Make it very easy. Just because you're not on Pinterest, for example, doesn't mean say your audience is not. So make it easy to share. This tool, so a social sharing plugin like this that works on desktop and works on mobile. It has to work on mobile. This is called social welfare or social warfare. And what I like about it, it does work on the different channels. And one thing I really like about it is I can say when somebody's sharing on Pinterest to share a different dimension image than somebody sharing on Facebook. So I can have different images depending on the platform and different messages. And it works well on mobile. And you'll probably find at least 20% of your traffic is on a mobile device, so make sure the sharing is very easy on a mobile device as well. Okay, number 10, not aware of problems browsing your website. So when was the last time you looked at somebody browsing through your website, on your blog, scrolling through it, filling out the opt-ins, subscribing via email, or buying your products and services? Typically, you're going to find some problems. So what you need to do is use a tool like Hotjar, which you install on your website. And Hotjar actually provides a very good free option. So you can use the free option, install it on your website, and now you can start watching a recording of somebody going through your blog, scrolling through it, filling out your opt-ins. You'll see what country they're from, you'll see what browser they're on, and you'll see a recording of their activity. You will also see a scroll map, so you can see how far people are scrolling on your website. Are they actually reading your blog content? Well, if they're not scrolling all the way down, you're going to need to change the structure of your blog content to try and encourage them to move down the page to read your content. Use the free version. That's going to be a good starting point. And you don't need to use the paid version in the short term. It's still going to give you a good selection of recordings to analyze what's working or not working. Number 11, blog post titles are not compelling. The title is extremely important. And like Hannah was talking about, the idea, what's going to capture attention? Yes, we need to think of Google, and we need to think of the keywords we're targeting or the topics we're targeting. That's important. We also need to think of social media and go from a social media point of view. From a social media point of view, is this compelling enough? Is this going to get people sharing the content? And your title can make a huge difference to whether people share or don't share. And if more people are sharing, yes, there isn't always a direct correlation between shares and links. But if more people are sharing, more people are hearing about your content, more visitors, more email subscribers, more potential links. So you can't go, social and SEO go together. So the blog post titles are not compelling. There's a free tool called the Emotional Marketing Headline Analyzer. And all it does is analyze your blog post title and gives you a percentage score. If your percentage score is low, it means you're not going to appeal to the emotional side of a person. I have found with this tool, if I get above 50%, I will get an awful lot more shares of my content just for having a high score. So all I'm looking for here is a high score. I'm not going to strip out keywords from a Google perspective. I'm not going to strip out any targeting, but I will change the words until I'm like above 50% ideally. And you will find you will get more shares just because of this. This is the ranking. So you can see here 53%. So 53% is difficult enough to get, But once you get it over 50, that's great. Second and 12th problem is imagery, not having enough imagery in your content. So if you just have too much text, people won't read it, so you need to have lots of imagery. But we don't want to go out and spend on expensive graphic design all the time. So we want something that's cost effective. These mini infographics work well. So people love stats and statistics. They're really important in a blog post. But can you change that into a little mini infographic instead of just having a list of stats? So people are taking this and they're embedding it or putting it on their blog and they're linking back to us just because there were interesting stats. Now, I go to a site like Fiverr, Fiverr, and people do work for $5. And it's just easy graphic design work, so it's not difficult to get something like this done for $5 or $10. And this gives you nice visuals that people share. People share this on Pinterest. People share it on websites and link back to you. People share it on Facebook. It's just a nicer way of showing graphs. Here's another one where I was doing a list of, they're just a list of tool categories, social media tool categories. Instead of doing just a boring list, create a little mini infographic and people share this a lot. So your content is looking more interesting now because you've more interesting graphics in it. You're spreading out the text, so there's text and the graphic, because people don't read through all your content. They skim down to what's interesting to them. So they're looking at a heading on the page and going, that's interesting. Or they stop on a video, or they stop on an image. So you need to make your content more interesting, and this captures people's attention. Or you can do full infographics. Infographics, again, still do extremely well. You still get a lot of links from infographics, provided you promote them. On the left-hand side, that infographic we did was shared 15,000 times so far. Every single day on Pinterest, it's reshared still. Every day. Infographics constantly get reshared. You want your content to last longer. You want your blog content to last longer. Infographics help your blog content stay around. It's time-consuming to write content, so these help. If you can use Fiverr for an infographic, or you can use a tool like Pictochart, Pictochart.com, and that gives you a template you can use to create your infographic. So you start off with a template, there's a whole series of templates, then you just put in your text and your images. And you can create your own infographic for $20 or $30, not that expensive. And then reach out and start promoting that infographic, and you will get links. And there's another infographic about hashtags. Again, it's just, this was somebody else's infographic. So even embedding somebody else's infographic is good because you keep people longer on your page. And we all know that dwell time, the time that Google is looking at to see how long people are spending on your page, is becoming increasingly important. Somebody comes to your blog post and leaves and goes straight back to Google. Well, of course, Google thinks that wasn't what they wanted to see. So how can you get them to stay on your content? And these graphics help stay. So that was the 12 tips. Like I said, what I covered is problems and solutions. Went through 12 problems, solutions, and then tools you can use. The tools, you can change some of the tools. You don't have to use, these are tools we recommend, but you don't have to use these tools. And there's plenty of good tools outside here as well. But think about the strategies first and then look at, well, what we can do, what tool can we use to implement that strategy. Now, one last thing before I go is another way is getting some help to do this, because it's complicated creating the blog and learning everything you need to know about blogging. Tucci said we could mention just an offer we're running at the moment. It's Black Friday in the US, so we're running a Black Friday offer to our own list. So we're just going to quickly share it with you guys because it is a pretty good offer. So we have a club called Digital Influencers. You build influence online, you build profit. We do online workshops, how-to videos, templates and guides, a Facebook group, and then we do a monthly 30-minute recording about, well, what's going on in the industry, in the online marketing industry. What are the things we're testing? This month we're sharing all about sales funnels, how we're building sales funnels with our blog content. And this is normally $48 a month. First month is for $9, and this is just for this weekend. It's for $9. And as included in that, there's a $97 workshop, which is completely free, which is driving social media traffic to your website and converting that traffic. And also next Wednesday, we're running a workshop, which is also included, about building a blog to dominate your niche. That's $9 for the first month. It's $48 per month after that. You could join and leave within the month. So you still get access to the content of the 2 workshops. We've opened it up to 50 people. About 20 people so far have taken it up on our own list. Anyway, I just said I'd share it just because it's Black Friday. It's a good offer. So thank you very much. I hope you enjoyed that. And do we have time for questions? Any questions, anybody?
Hiçbir sıkıntı yok. Yanımda getirdim. If they ask in Turkish, they will translate. But maybe.
Hello.
Hello.
Thanks for the presentation.
Thank you.
I want to ask a question. Is there any correlation between the share rate and the share number? For example, after 1 million, is sharing rate increase? So if there is a correlation, do we have to boost the initial chasm? Do we have to add fake shares?
Sorry, is there a correlation between
Share number and share rate.
share what, sir?
Share number, share amount, for example, 1 million shared,
Yep.
and the share rate. For example, 10 people get in my website and 2 of them share my content. Is there any correlation? Because when I share something, I look at the share number. If it is less, so I don't share.
So when people come to your website, if they see there's no shares on your content, so like I said, they come and they go, there's 2 shares, people automatically assume, generally, this is not great content. Because people are going, well, if there's only 2 shares on it, that's not good. So yes, the higher number of shares, the better on the content. So that's another reason as well, when you post a piece of content, if I go and see there's only 2 shares on the content, well, I'm thinking even you don't like the content. Because you should share it more than twice, because you could be resharing it again, promoting it. So absolutely, if you've got a higher number of shares, you're much more likely to get more shares. Thanks for the question.
Yeah.
No more?
Okay. Thank you.
No?
Thank you, Ian.
Well, thank you very much, everybody.
That was great presentation.